Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here, and today I'm going to be talking about this Comvolt 2200 power station. This thing is really interesting. The use case for it is really interesting. If you are someone who has used like a Jackery or something like that historically, but you're ready to move up to sort of more of a dual battery setup, but you don't want to get into all the complexity of having to select the right batteries and wire everything and do all that stuff, this is kind of an all-in-one power station. So today I'm going to show you how easy this thing is to install. I'm going to kind of walk you through all the features of it, talk a little bit about what comes in the box, and why this is such a good option, again, if you are looking to upgrade but not go fully into the world of dual battery setup. So if you want to learn more about the Comvolt 2200, stay tuned.
Understand where it came from, but you got it, I got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, so let's start by talking a little bit about what comes in the box and what you actually get. After we do that, then I'm going to compare it a little bit to what my setup has been historically and talk a little bit about the benefits of a system like this compared to building your own fully true dual battery setup using a number of different components from a number of different companies. So let's start with what comes in the box. Of course, you get the unit itself. Now, this is the 2200. Now, if you're comparing this to, say, some LifePo 4 batteries from a typical dual battery setup, this works out to about 178 amp hours, so pretty close to a 200 amp hour battery, which is what I've been running in the past. Of course, you get an AC charger. Now, when you plug this thing into the wall, I get about 400 to 420 amps going into this pretty consistently, which is really nice and charges this thing up in no time. So you've got that. If you were using this as, you know, say a replacement to like a Jackery and you just wanted to pull this out of your vehicle after a trip and bring it in and charge it, you can do that really easily here. Now, if you want to do more of an installed true dual battery setup, they also provide you with stuff to install a DC to DC charger and all the wiring that you need. But again, all the gauge is figured out, the size of the wires is figured out. The installation itself is extremely straightforward, and I'm going to walk you through that and kind of show you, especially if you have a Frontier. I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to route this wire through to your cab here in a second, but you get everything that you need to make it turn on when the ignition turns on, and it's a very straightforward installation. Now, as far as features on the unit itself, basically you've got your on-off switch for AC here and your main power here. Once you turn on your main power, you're going to see it. Now, I've been using this thing for months and I'm still at 44%. So this thing is a powerhouse. I even let a buddy run an electric blanket for 3 nights while we were on a camping trip about 3 months ago, and it's still at 44%, even after running other things, some fridges and that sort of thing, for quite a long time. Then if you want your AC on, you can hit this button and that will turn on the fan. If needed, it'll turn on these fans, so it automatically cools itself back here. But then that turns on these 2 AC plugs that you've got in the back. Then you've also got a solar input back here. You've got these COM inputs. Now, I don't have their additional systems, but you can easily hook up a number of DC devices to and run them straight out of here. And then you've got an Anderson style DC input or output back here, which I like that they use ports for more than one reason, and it can tell, the device is smart enough to tell whether you're putting power in or pulling power out, because then you don't need as many ports. Same with the front here, you've got 2 more DC input outputs. Now these are that XT90 style plugs. You've got 2 of those on the front there that you can use to run things. You've got 2 cigarette style DC plugs here as well. And then you've got a couple of USBs, a USB-C and a USB-A. As for the unit itself, this is a metal construction, so this thing is tough. As you can see, I've already scratched it. I mean, I've been tossing this in and out of the back. I've been sharing it with people. We left it out in the rain, and the only sign of that is there's just a little tiny bit of rust from some of the hardware because it got wet. But I mean, this thing sat out in the pouring rain for an entire night, one night while we were on our camping trip. Didn't hurt it at all, did perfectly fine. Now, would I recommend that? No, but if it does happen, or if you get condensation on it or something, or you fall asleep and it's sitting outside under your tailgate and it gets a little wet, for me, it was no problem. The other thing that I like is these handles fit flat on the top here. So as far as form factor, if you're thinking of say, bolting this down in the bed of your truck, or if you're thinking about putting it in the back seat, it is perfect for that kind of stuff. And a much better form factor than a lot of the handheld sort of portable power banks that you see that have hard formed handles built into the top, or some of mine have them on the side. This thing's just really easy to sort of hide behind a seat or to put onto a shelf system in your back seat, that kind of thing. So now that we kind of know what comes in the box, what all is included, let's look at the installation a little bit, and I'm going to walk you through that and kind of get it test fitted in the cab of the truck. All right, guys, so as you can see, I actually do use my truck for off-roading, so it is very dirty. I'm in the process of cleaning my air filter though while we're under here. So at the same time, I'm going to be showing you how to install this Comvolt system, the DC to DC charging. Super straightforward, really easy. Thankfully, they make it as easy as possible to install. So of course, you've got your positive on your battery and your negative. You can also use like a chassis ground, like somewhere over on the chassis here if you want. I probably, just for ease, will just hook it up to the negative because I've got this nice post here on the top where I can just attach it. They come with eye hooks, circular fittings on the end, so you can literally just bolt them to the negative and the positive on your battery. Now on the Frontiers, I do believe that there's a pass-through back here, but the one that I typically use, you'll see these wires running across here, is right behind sort of the foot pedals. If you can see it down in there, there's sort of a grommet right down there, and that is where I'm going to pass mine through for my Comvolt. So you pass it through, it comes straight through, back up here. See that red wire coming down from there? That's where it's coming from. It's right up there. Then you can run it right underneath of your door trim over here on the side. And then if you're going to mount yours, let's say in the back seat back here, then you could just, I'm probably going to reinstall my Carga system, which is a great little system from a company called 63 Industries. But it's just sort of a shelf system that goes right here. And then I can set the Comvolt right on top of that. And then I can hook it up, again, running the cables right up to here to the DC to DC charger, which I might actually be able to hide under the seat. Now my Frontier does have the sub, it does have the Fender audio system, so I don't have much room, but I could probably sneak it right in here at the back of the seat and then just sort of maybe Velcro it right there. And then again, just run the cord straight up here onto my shelf thing with the Comvolt sitting on top, and then we'll be good to go. So let's get those wires run and we'll get it turned on. There also is a DC plug that you can plug in. Now my DC plug up there is accessory, so it turns on when the truck turns on, so that will essentially automate your DC to DC charging. You'll plug that thing into the DC charger up front, and then it's got a little wire that comes out, and then that plugs into here. So see that our negative from our battery is going to go into the negative input, and we're just going to sandwich it in there with these screws, and then the positive is going to go into the other side. And then the output cable from your accessory only DC plug will tell this when to turn on. Now, if your plug in your truck is always on, then you can do this. You can still do the same thing. The only thing is you're going to have to like unplug it. That would be for manual charging. If you just wanted to charge it up off of your vehicle, then you could do that, but you got to be careful that you don't kill your battery with that. So you really want to make sure that the plug that you're plugging it into, I know in my old Frontier I had 2 DC plugs. I think I've only got one now. One of them was always on and one was an accessory port that turned on when the truck turned on. You just want to make sure that you plug it into the right one so that it's not sucking your battery dry when your truck's not running to replenish the power. So then that's basically it. And then this output here goes into the input on the device. And again, as long as you're on accessory, when you turn on your truck, that's going to kick on power and start charging this device. So while you're driving around hitting the trails all day, you're putting power back into the power bank via the DC to DC charger. And then when you get to camp, you're charged up and you're ready to go. So you don't even really have to mess with like a solar or, plugging it back in via AC or anything. You're just going to pull power off your truck when your truck is on. All right, guys, so I'm not sure where I'm going to mount this thing yet, so I just wanted to kind of do like a test wiring just to demonstrate for you guys how easy this is to wire, and then also just to verify that it works and show it in action. So, of course, as I mentioned, I've got the negative going to the negative post. I'm going to wait to install the positive until right at the end when we're ready to plug everything in. One note is this is the fuse right here, so you do want to secure this somewhere. So what I'm thinking is when I wire this for good, I'm going to put it on the positive post and probably put this next to my cutoff for my winch. So I'm just going to move that around and then mount it to the top of this fuse box here as a Frontier owner, with that wire then going that other direction down there where the grommet is for it to run in. Now, another note is that this thing is only about 8 feet long, so these cables are not the longest. So you're probably not going to run this all the way back to your bed just the way that it is. But the good news is on the other end, you get another 8-foot cable coming out of the DC to DC charger, which is waterproof, by the way. So if you did mount this, say, on a frame rail or something on the exterior of the truck, you could do that and then run it up through the grommets behind behind the bed back here and into the bed of the truck. So that could be an option too. So for now though, just going to wire this stuff to here. Then, you know, they've already got these ends pre-snipped for you. You just basically unscrew these screws, put in your positive, screw it down, put in your negative, screw it down. That's going to hold it securely in there so that you're ready to go. This is serviceable too, so you can also loosen this end and then pull these negatives out if you wanted to change up this type of connection, if you weren't happy with that or wanted a different style. I like how easy it is to use, but then also how customizable it is. And then of course this is your accessory switch, so we will take our DC plug that they provide, plug into my cigarette lighter up there, and then plug that wire into the end here, which you just pull this little orange thing up there, jam your wire in, push this back down, and that's going to secure that. Then this XT90 cable, again about 8 feet long, coming out of the back there, will then run straight into the input on the front of the device, and that's what will charge it. And then when you turn your truck on, that signal is going to go to there telling the DC to DC charger to turn on, and then it's going to start charging your battery. And there you go. As you can see, I just turned it on. It's pulling about 406 watts from the DC to DC. So way more than you're going to get from, you know, plugging into, say, a DC cigarette style plug on like a Jackery or something like that. All right, so to kind of wrap up this video, and apologies, it's 95 degrees and like 100% humidity out here, so I'm sweating. But I wanted to get this video together for you guys so that you could see this Comvolt thing because it's really cool. So I wanted to finish by showing you a real world test. So I just grabbed an old air fryer that I've got because I know this thing pulls a ton of power and I wanted to demonstrate this thing in use, right? So if you are using it to charge chainsaw batteries, which is what I kind of envision doing with it, or charge all my drone batteries or things that take AC, this has built-in inverter in it, right? So let's do that really quick. Let's test this thing running the air fryer, literal home residential air fryer. And I'm just going to show you that test quick. And then we'll talk a little bit about the value of this unit and why it makes a ton of sense if you are looking to create a dual battery setup, maybe go a little beyond a Jackery, but not spend tons and tons of money and not have to become an electrical engineer. All right, so as I mentioned, I've got my air fryer hooked up. One thing to mention too about this that I've noticed is this is a touch screen. So whenever you touch that, it actually turns back on. So to save power, it shuts off the display after, 30 seconds, a minute, something like that. But if you just tap it, it will turn back on. Also, you can swipe through here so you can see some different settings. You could change your language. You can change, okay, so it stays on for a minute. You can change that if you want. You can have it so it's always on, or you can have it so that it's at 1 minute. Over here, you've got battery ID. So if you had multiple of these, you can kind of identify which is which. And then, of course, you've got your power displays, your total capacity, how long you can run. So with this thing plugged in, just plugged in, it's already pulling 12 to 15 watts, kind of constant, just to keep this light on the top. But so right now it says it will run this for 2 days and 14 hours with this air fryer plugged in. Now watch this when I turn this on. I'm going to keep this camera on this so you see what the power does. I'm going to turn this thing on to 350 for 15 minutes and hit start. So now watch, 45, 1.6 kilowatts, 1.7. So it's pulling about 1,700 watts constant, right? But right now it says it will run this for about 34 minutes, but this is a huge draw. And that's kind of my point is, I wanted to point out, with a lot of folks, they go to a dual battery setup because a dual battery will allow you to circumvent a lot of the restrictions that, like a Jackery or a Blue Eddy put in place. Sometimes you'll run into with a diesel heater or something that even just pulls about 170 watts at a time, that it will not power that device, and you'll get out there and be in the middle of nowhere in the freezing cold and try and run your diesel heater and it won't start off of your power bank. But again, with this thing is super robust. It is made to power AC stuff. It is made to run things through an AC inverter. And then with the ability to DC charge it, you can charge it back up really quickly, easily while you're on the trail every day. Anyways, that is the test of the air fryer, just to show you just how much power this thing can put out. It's super impressive. All right, so now that I've shown you the air fryer test on this thing, just can't say how impressed I am with this anymore. Like, it is an all-in-one unit. So what does that really mean though, right? Like, if you are newer to overlanding camping, if you are newer to having like a dual battery setup, let me just kind of explain what that typically looks like, right? So you've got basically this and then two other options. You've got, say, a portable power bank like a Jackery or a Blue Eddy. Those things are nice. They're perfectly fine. They're also relatively inexpensive. I mean, to get this kind of power though, you're talking at least probably 12 to 1,500 bucks, right? Somewhere in that ballpark. And the thing about that is it's going to be big, it's going to be bulky, it's going to have handles and stuff that stick off of it. It's not really intended. It's intended for portability. It's not intended for mounting in a vehicle, right? Having a true dual battery setup. So you're kind of taking something that's intended to throw in a car for a camping trip, use while you're out there, take home, plug into your wall, and charge back up. And now you're kind of retrofitting it into a vehicle to be charged off DC, right? You can. Some of those have DC to DC chargers. And if you do that, that's getting you closer to this thing. But those are an additional cost with those, whereas it's included with the Comvolt. Then the other alternative is what I've historically done, which is you need some sort of a power management system, which I am running the Red Vision system. That is just to control charge and discharge, right? And to allow you to plug in some accessories. Now, there are some things that are at an additional cost for this, similar to what the Red Vision has, where you can plug in multiple outputs to it and then control those. But so with the Red Vision, that's my control system. Already I'm at $2,500. Then I need my batteries, right? And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, you have to make sure that they are the same type of batteries with the same BMS or battery management system. Because if you have two different batteries, they talk to each other differently. And the Red Arc it's not smart enough to know this battery does it this way and this battery does it that way. So you're never really going to get full charge, and you're going to oftentimes destroy your batteries because it's trying to charge them the same, and they have different ways of taking in that power. So a 200 amp hour battery usually runs about $400 to $500. So then you've got another $500 there. You're at $3,000 already just for the power management system and the batteries. Now, in the case of the Red Arc, it does include a DC to DC charger, just like the Comvolt. So you don't have to buy one of those separate like you would with a Jackery or a Blue Eddy, but still you're already at $3,000, which is about double the cost, which is more than double the cost of the Comvolt. And then on top of that, you've also got to figure out what gauge wires you need to run all this stuff, to run the DC to DC. That is not included with the Red Vision. So you have to go out and purchase that stuff. You have to make sure that it's big enough gauge wire that you're not going to have any chance of fires or, damage to any of your components. So then you've got to wire all this stuff. You've got to run all those wires. It's not plug and play like it is with Comvolt. So there is a lot of like splicing, wiring, soldering, that kind of stuff that needs to be done with the Red Vision system. Now, again, not to take anything away from that system, but just to point out that if this was me starting right now in Overlanding and I didn't already have all that Red Vision stuff and all that really expensive stuff, this thing makes a ton of sense because it's so much simpler. It's so much more cost effective. And the fact that it has a built-in inverter, we haven't even talked about an inverter yet. In my previous setup, I was running a lead time 3,000 watt inverter, which is about another $300, $350 there for the inverter. And again, then you have to wire everything. You have to do all this stuff. You can't just plug stuff into it. You still got to, get it fused properly and connected to your two batteries or your one battery or whatever kind of setup you're running in order to get that thing going. So to give you my final thoughts on this and who I think this is best for, it would make the most sense for to run something like the Comvolt 2200, or they've got a 4000 or a 6000 also. So you could spend a little bit more money if you want more capacity in your setup. But it's the same idea, right? It works the same. They hook up the same. It's just got a bigger battery in it, basically. It gets a little heavier. I'll throw the weight of this thing up on the screen here. But for, strapping this thing down, because of the form factor, super, super easy. So if you are someone who has maybe had a Jackery for a while, you're kind of getting annoyed with it, it's getting older, maybe, you don't have the capacity that you want, or you're looking to truly integrate something and build it in, then the Comvolt, to me, makes a ton of sense for a next step, for a sort of final solution to have everything rolled into one setup. It's probably just about as simple as wiring up a Blue Eddy or a Jackery, if not simpler, and the form factor of it and the ability of it to run, huge things, even air fryers and stuff, makes it a super appealing option for people looking to add some capacity and save their starter battery so that when they get out in the middle of nowhere, they don't have to worry about, killing a battery, getting stuck somewhere, and you can run more stuff like fridges, diesel heaters, heated blankets, air conditioners, that kind of stuff. If you're into that realm where you're starting to get a little bit more bougie, a little bit more glampy, and you want to be able to run more things, then the Comvolt is just such a nice plug and play out of the box solution that I would recommend it wholeheartedly to anyone that is looking to sort of step up their game and run a dual battery setup without all the complexity. So that'll do it for the Comvolt 2200. Of course, I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to check it out to learn more or pick one up for yourself. If you have any questions or anything, just post up in the comments below. As always, there will be links to all my social channels down there, so wherever you want to come hang out, I'd love to have you. There's also a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers, things like Don't Burn Your Wiener and It's a Hot Dog, or Weekend Warrior, there's a Jerry Can, or I Hate People So I Camp, that kind of stuff, funny dad joke type patches and stickers. So if you want some of those, check those out. Also below this video is a join button, which is just sort of a passive way to support the channel. It gets you early access to the videos and some other perks. But if you want to be more involved with all things overlanding, there's also a link to my Patreon page where we've got a ton of awesome guys. We have a 24/7 Discord where we chat. We've got a once-a-month Zoom call that we do, and we're getting together a couple times a year for trips. We've been to Land Between the Lakes. We've been over to West Virginia. We're talking about potentially going to the Ozarks this fall. So if that sounds good to you, then definitely consider joining the Patreon. Anything $5 or up gets you access to all that stuff. And then last but not least, there's a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group. Now, this group is totally free to join, full of awesome people, but different from the big groups, we don't allow self-promotion or a bunch of bullying. So if you want a cleaner experience, if you want to be able to actually ask questions, then definitely consider joining that group. That will do it for the Comvolt 2200. Hope that was helpful. If it was, click that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.